All right, we will call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the City of Show Low for Tuesday, January 9th, 2018. Roll call shows all commissioners present, with the exception of Commissioner Berry and Commissioner Adams, who are excused. And the invocation, I will do the invocation this evening. The pledge will be done by Vice Chair Robertson. So if you would all please rise. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the ability for us to get together here this evening and discuss issues that are of importance to our citizens. We look forward to your guidance as we go through the process. We also ask that you bless us with, if it be your will, moisture in some shape or form. We know that you're aware that the mountain is exceptionally dry at this point, and we just ask for you to wrap your arms around everybody, to keep everybody safe and to keep our beautiful mountain in its current condition. We also ask, as always, that you hold ahead of all others our first responders and our men and women in active service, both home and abroad, and bring all of them home safely to their loved ones. We ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Oh, all right. There is no old business on the agenda, but a couple of items, new items on the agenda. The first being the protocol required election of officers of the commission for the coming year. We will take nominations at this point for the chairman's role to begin with.
I nominate Commissioner Johnston to stay as the commissioner.
Come on, folks.
I second that nomination.
All right, we have a nomination and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, I guess.
You said one more year.
You're welcome.
All right, and now for nominations for vice chairman. I will nominate the sitting vice chairman, Debbie Robertson.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, then we have a duly seated chair and vice chair for 2018. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
That leads us to the second item on the agenda, which is consideration of the updated 2018 general plan. Mr. Tagraskis, is that yours for this evening, sir?
This is mine, yes, sir.
All right.
As the commission is aware, we've been working on updating our existing general plan for a little bit of time. In October of 2007, the City Council adopted Resolution 2007-49. This resolution adopted the current version of the Show Low General Plan. This plan was approved by the voters in March of 2008. The state's Growing Smarter and Growing Smarter Plus legislation mandates that all general plans must be updated every 10 years and be presented to the voters for approval. The recommendation is to present the new 2018 general plan to the voters in the next regularly scheduled election of August of 2018. The existing 2008 general plan was developed in conjunction with a 14-citizen general plan advisory committee. In response to rapid growth and growth patterns, the committee was charged with assisting in drafting a completely new 2008 general plan. This new plan was created following committee meetings, community surveys, public open houses, technical advisory committee input, and staff assistance, and was presented to the voters and approved by the voters in 2008. As required by state law, cities and towns are required to adopt new plans or re-adopt existing plans every 10 years. Staff presented a proposal to update the existing 2008 general plan rather than undergo a complete rewrite of a new plan to both the commission and the council in separate study sessions. Based on the economy of the previous 10 years and the subsequent lack of development, it was felt that the previous projections were still valid. The purpose of this update was to reflect new demographic data and to update various maps within the existing document to reflect current city limits and conditions. A review draft of the 2018 general plan was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission prior to the mandatory 60-day review period. Following this presentation, staff distributed the proposed 2018 general plan to various agencies for the required 60-day review period. For your information, no comments were received as part of that. Staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve the proposed 2018 general plan and forward this recommendation to the City Council. Mr. Chair, just a reminder, this has been scheduled for a public hearing and then discussion and vote by the commission. So I'll turn it back to you at this point.
Okay. All right. We have, can we get a motion to approve the updated?
You'll need to open the public hearing
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry. Forgive me. We will have we will now open the hearing to the public for those of you who have comment on this particular issue. You may come forward and state your name and address for the record. And seeing nobody, we will bring it back and close the public session. I'll entertain a motion. Vice Chair Robertson?
I move to approve the updated 2018 general plan as presented and forward this recommendation to the City Council.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Second by Commissioner Clark. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. That motion carries unanimously. Do we have a?
This has been scheduled for a public hearing with the City Council at their next regularly scheduled meeting. That'll take place a week from this evening in these council chambers.
Okay. Does that deal with C as well?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we thought, all right. All right, that leads us to the final item on this evening's agenda, which is consideration of conditional use permit 602-04-202, submitted by George Pascal III of Whitley Morris PLC to allow for a grading permit, secondhand retail store and donation center at 4470 South White Mountain Road, that being assessor's parcel number 212-03-109 and 142. Ms. Spector-Cotter.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. A conditional use permit or CUP application has been submitted by George Pascal III of Whitley Morris PLC to allow for a grading permit, secondhand retail store, and donation center at 4470 South White Mountain Road, that being APN 210-03-109 and 142. The applicant represents Goodwill, a nonprofit agency which operates secondhand retail stores and donation centers. Goodwill wishes to open a secondhand retail store and donation center on the subject property. The store will be open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. with somewhat shortened hours on Sundays. The applicant has stated that donations will only be accepted during regular business hours. In addition, they have stated that there will be no donation boxes for after-hours donations, and they will have security cameras installed in the donation area. The applicant has submitted plans for review to the Arizona Department of Transportation, or ADOT. However, the plans have not yet been approved. Based on ADOT approval, there may be some minor changes to the submitted site plan. The subject property is Zone C2, which is general commercial. Sales of secondhand goods require a CUP in the C2 zone. In addition, the applicant has requested a grading permit to be issued prior to building permit approval, which also requires a CUP. Conceptual drawings and a site plan have been submitted to the city and are attached for your review. The current zoning of their surrounding properties includes to the north, south, east, and west, C2. The current land uses of the surrounding properties include to the north, Pizza Hut, to the south, Crystal Dragon, to the east, Park Pineway Shopping Center, and to the west, vacant commercial. Transmittal manuals were sent to all affected agencies and no applicable comments were received. The property was posted and letters were sent to all property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. Staff received several phone calls from neighboring property owners regarding the nature of the request, with one caller expressing concerns regarding donations at the subject property. However, no opposition to the proposed project has been received. After reviewing the standards for the review, the zoning ordinance, discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with the City of Shiloh general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve conditional use permit 602-04-202 submitted by George Pasquale III of Withy Morris PLC to allow for a grading permit, secondhand retail store and donation center at 4470 South White Mountain Road, that being APN 210-03-109 and 142, subject to the following conditions. 1, all development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including building permit, sign, and ADOT requirements. 2, plans shall be submitted and approved by the City of Shiloh Engineering Department prior to the issuance of a grading permit by the city. 3, donations shall only be accepted during regular business hours. 4, no outdoor storage of secondhand goods shall be permitted. 5, any delivery vehicle associated with the business shall be parked at the rear of the structure when not being utilized and shall comply with section 15145 FI of City Code. 6, landscaping meeting the requirements of City Code section 15160D7 shall be installed and maintained. 7, parking and lighting requirements of section 15146 of City Code shall be met. Number 8, all development shall be in substantial conformance with the submitted site plan with allowance for changes based on ADOT requirements and approval. And 9, this conditional use permit is non-transferable.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Our staff as well as the applicant are available for questions.
Okay. All right, questions for staff to begin with. I guess, go ahead, Vice Chair.
I know that there is lighting that'll be out there, and I'm assuming signage as well, saying that there is no drop-off. I think there's a law for that, isn't there? So there'll be a code put there with the law. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That is something that we could ask them to do if you wanted. I don't think that they specifically said that there would be no donations, but I think they're actually, I believe that they have said that they would put up signs that would say no
says
after hours donations and that there's
Very good.
surveillance. Sorry about that.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if this is a question for the applicant or staff, but I'm a bit confused by, and I realize that ADOT hasn't approved the ingress egress specifically yet, but it looks like, I mean, to me, when I look at it, it looks like the existing drive there are dashed lines across it. Is that just a crosswalk? Or does that mean that they're planning on a new ingress egress? If you look at the northern portion of the property where the existing drive is, the existing intersection. I'm not sure what I thought I looked at the key, but I don't know what the dashed lines represent.
Yeah, I believe that one of their proposals is to use that access by where the Pizza Hut is and to come in from the back. That's one of their proposals.
Right.
Okay.
If I can clarify, the existing drive that comes there at Pizza Hut with the traffic light, you see those dashed lines that run across the driveway? I believe that's what the chairman is referring to. That's just referring to, there's a culvert underneath the road at that location.
okay.
So it's a drainage facility
Okay.
that works there.
All right, thank you, sir, I appreciate that. Okay. And then it looks like at I would call it I guess the eastern end, there's a proposed new ingress, and I'm wondering if that is, or ingress egress, and I'm wondering if that is just ingress, or, occurs to me that that's pretty close to the existing intersection to be turning across traffic. So,
Yeah, and that's what we're waiting on the ADOT approval
Okay.
for.
okay. All right, so we'll just hold that in abeyance, I guess, until after ADOT responds. Okay, I'm done. Anybody else? Any questions for the applicant? Okay. We'll open it then for public comment. If anybody out there has input on this evening, we would love to hear from you. Just come forward and state your name and address for the record. And seeing no one, we'll bring it back and close the public session and bring it to the commission for action. Have a motion? Commissioner Bishop.
I move to approve CUP 602-04-203, submitted by George Pasquale III of Whitney Morris PLC to allow for a grading permit, secondhand retail store and donation center at 4470 South White Mountain Road, that being APN 212-03-109 and 142, subject to staff recommendations.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, multiple seconds, Commissioner Behrens and Commissioner, or Vice Chair Robertson. All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Disclaimer, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With any conditional use permit, there is a 7-day appeal period. If no appeal is received by the city clerk within those 7 days, this conditional use permit will be considered effective.
All righty then. Thank you for showing up, guys. We appreciate it a lot. All right, be careful out there. All right, again, this would be where we would issue the call to the public, and anybody that's wanting to address the council on any, or the commission on anything which is within our purview for this evening may come forward and do so. And seeing no one, I will just dispense with the reading of the boilerplate, and we'll close the public session. That leads us to approval of the minutes from the November 28th, 2017 meeting.
Mr. Chair, if I could
Sure.
interrupt. Inadvertently, the minutes were not included in the packet.
I was going to say I didn't
I was going to say,
get.
I couldn't find it.
We debated whether we should email them to you today. We were concerned that perhaps not every member of the commission would be able to receive them by this evening. We also thought about maybe printing out copies and just having them available for you to review, but they were 18 pages long. And so we will just make sure that we include them in our packet for the next meeting.
All right.
So no action required on the November 28th meeting tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. That leads us to the final event of the evening, which is summary of current events. Commissioner Bishop?
Nothing to share tonight. Thank you.
Nothing, except I'm hoping for moisture and snow.
I don't have anything.
Hope your knee gets better.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Robertson.
I'm with Commissioner Barron's. Happy New Year to everybody, and be careful with the weather we're getting tonight, or supposed to get.
Yeah, let's hope we have to be careful
Yes.
for the weather that we get.
Absolutely.
I would agree. I have no further comment. Mr. Tagaskis.
Just an announcement. Some members of the commission, as well as our viewing public, may remember Mr. William Thomas, Bill Thomas. Need to announce that he passed away, I think somewhat unexpectedly. He was a former city councilman. We appreciate his service that he offered to the city in that position, and we offer condolences to his family. Funeral arrangements have not been announced yet at this point. But again, just wanted to announce that and offer our condolences to his family and friends and loved ones. So.
Likewise, sir. Okay. All right, with that, we will call this evening's meeting adjourned.